Hey folks, so new Farkle today here in Southern California. It rained all day yesterday. It's been 94 degrees. So I feel like I'm in Atlanta or Florida or something. And here it is Sunday, raining again. Anyway, so perfect day to do this little project. So what it is, last weekend when I detailed my Spyder and did a video walking around it and talking about it, Randal Geiger, Mr. Inspector Gadget, messaged me on Facebook and said, hey, you don't have floorboards. And I'm like, I'm not really sure I'm going to want floorboards. I have an SM5. And I know he makes floorboards for SM5. I'd seen him before. Matter of fact, I think he might be the only one that makes floorboards for the manual other than, I guess, the BRP if they make them. So anyway, I said, nah, thanks, but, you know, I think I'm okay. What I did is I put highway pegs on, which has been doing me good. So when I want to get comfortable, I just put my foot up on the highway pegs. And, you know, a while back, I had bought a heel toe shifter. Now, this isn't the one Randal makes. His has a flat heel step on it. But a while back, I bought a heel toe shifter just to see if I'd be even at all interested in floorboards. As you can see, I have a pretty big foot. I'm barefoot, of course. But, you know, on this heel toe shifter, you know, I usually ride with my foot prepared to shift, right? So, you know, my heel's back here on the peg. So with the floorboards now, I'm going to have to move my foot way back to hit this heel shifter, all right? So I'll be moving back and forth. And when I was trying it, I didn't care for it that much and hardly ever used it. I was actually going to take it off, well, until Randal sent me these floorboards. So I'm going to give them a shot. So what he said was, I'm going to send these to you for free. Try them out. If you like them, great. And I promised him that if I did like them, I'd pay him for them. If I don't like them, then him and I will work something out where maybe someone in my area wants to pick them up. I'll even install them, something like that. So let me talk about the floorboards for a minute. His pictures on his website really doesn't do them justice. When you see the picture, you think, okay, it looks kind of like a light aluminum and you know, kind of homemade and blah, 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 blah. But these are substantial. I can see why on his website he charges $15 shipping. I mean, this is a substantial chunk of aluminum here. Basically, in the picture, what you see is trim. So he also supplies, and if you look at the prices, really cheap. Replacement rubber if you wear it out, and the trim that goes around this you can replace as well if you ding it or nick it or damage it. So he supplies that if you ever need to replace the rubbers or fix them up again. So that's pretty cool too. So he basically sells parts for these. But these are substantial. I'm actually impressed with them. The pictures, again, didn't do them justice. They didn't give me the impression in my mind they were going to be this substantial. They are substantial. So we'll be putting on and trying them. See how they go. Again, I probably was never going to get floorboards until this little offer came along. So thank you, Randal, Mr. Inspector Gadget. Anyway, to put them on is pretty straightforward. On the bottom of your peg are two bolts. It's 10 millimeters, so you'll be using a 10 millimeter socket. Once you get them out, there's a weight under here he says will fall out. We'll take a look when I take this apart. It says note the orientation. I think it only goes a certain way. It'll only fit in there a certain way due to the hole alignment. Again, we'll take a look when we get them off. Anyway, so I'm going to take them off. He gives you new hardware to mount them. We'll put them on and take a look. Okay, so that was pretty darn easy. As you'll notice the weight, you'll see the dips where the head of these bolts were in. The weight goes this way up in here. Can only go one way, all right? So the dimples down where the heads of the bolts go, and the holes toward the front. You see they'll line up like that, but it wouldn't line up the other way. So just you might want to pay attention when it drops, but it'll only go in one way. All right, so he gives us new hardware. Let's get that floorboard on, take a look. Okay, that was one of the easiest Farkles I ever installed. By the way, when you're putting on his hardware, it's a Phillips screw on the top, and the bolt's pretty long, so if you're going to use a socket to hold the, by the way, it's 11 millimeter, it was 10 millimeter bolts coming out, these are 11 millimeter nuts. By the way, he doesn't scrimp, it's quality hardware, they're Nylox, no Loctite necessary. So for a socket, I used a deep dish, but you could use a wrench if you don't have a deep socket, because the bolt comes out the nut fairly far. Anyway, I see no issue with hitting the brake. It doesn't go past, as hard as I can press, doesn't go past the floorboard. So that design works out well. Let's check out the other side and the shifter. Hey folks, well, to continue my Inspector Gadget floorboard install and review, as you see, it's no longer raining and it's a couple of weekends later, and let me explain why. I had the Reveco heel toe shifter, which I said in the video I really didn't care for. This back piece was too far back for my foot to reach. Then once I put on Randal's floorboard, this was too low for you to access the heel on Randal's floorboard. Personally, I'm not sure how that Reveco heel toe shifter would even work with any floorboard, to be honest with you. But so Randal was very nice. I pointed out that this would not work for me, and he went ahead and sent me his. So we're going to do this as part of the install. All right. But I will say I've been riding. I don't have this one on yet, obviously, because of the heel toe shifter. But I've been riding with the right one on. And so far, when I said I wasn't going to like floorboards, let me just say, love it on this side. Now, again, I don't have my tennis shoes on or anything, but it does not interfere with the brake in any way. You'll also notice they flex and move a little bit. That's not due to the floorboards. That's due to the manufacturer of the peg. The peg is actually mounted on a rubber, so it pivots. And that's actually really good. I like it anyway. So when you really got to hit that brake pedal hard, it doesn't go beyond the floorboard no matter how hard you press it. But you get that sense that, you know, it's definitely not ever going to be in the way. So I've been liking the right side. Now we'll do the left side. So just some things here. The Reveco heel toe shifter went on without drilling any holes. They give you this bracket and the bracket in the back, and there's a hole. Here, let me get there. And there's a hole, as you can see, a slot here that it used to mount it with. And then to keep it from moving, they had this little notch here that met the peg. Well, with Randal's, we have to drill some holes, and he gives you some little instructions. Basically what he's trying to show you is when you drill these holes and screw it in, you want it a certain height here. He shows you the length between the two. He shows you the measurement from the ground up. I'm assuming that's with the shifter, you know, not down or up. And then what the height should be. So I'm going to take a look at those measurements, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the floorboard, and I'm going to hold the heel toe shifter up, because you're going to be drilling holes right here, right in here, okay? And then we'll hold it there, we'll get it in place, and make sure I've got it to where my heel's going to comfortably reach it, and I'll be able to shift with the heel, and then we will mark and drill those holes, and I'll tell you the drill bit and everything. Okay, so let's get started. Floorboard on this side goes just like in my video on the other side. 2 bolts, and we continue on. So we got the floorboard on, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to line this up. Now what we don't want to do is have that heel too high. So I'm not sure I can do this with one hand, but there, my shifter's all the way up as if I was lifting with my toe, and I want this to be as low to the floorboard as possible. See that? So that my wife or someone doesn't hit it, and I don't have to lift my heel so high. So one thing I'm noticing is he gives you 2 sets of holes here for the heel. I think I'm going to lower it to the lowest one, and so that I can get that to be as low as possible. So when I go up in gear, this thing's right about a little bit above. Because if you look at the floorboard here, when I come down in gear, it's just almost to the edge of the floorboard. Well, I want to make that heel about the same. So also what I'm going to do is make sure I get it right. He gives you 3 screws, even though there's 4 holes. Probably going to use these 2 and this one in the back, although I'm thinking leverage-wise it might be better to use these 2 and 1 in the front. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 in the front, and I'm going to get it screwed in. This will then allow me to move this where I want, and then mark the remaining holes so that we get it right. So anyway, let me go to work on that, and where I want that first hole, mark it with a Sharpie. We'll get it drilled and get 1 screw in and take a look. I'm also going to lower that heel to the other set of holes because I want it as low as possible so my wife doesn't bump it. Okay, so let's do that and we'll come back and take a look. Okay, so let's see what we got. I drilled this hole and put the screw in, and then moved this bracket until I made sure that I could go into gear, right? So be careful while you're doing this on the SM5. The gear train, because the motor's not running, may not line up. So make sure it actually puts you in gear. And as you can see, with the peg all the way up, and I tested this with my heel, it's still just above the floorboard, and that's where I like it, to be honest with you. So you could have it a little higher if you like, but it keeps it from being too high for someone with the your passenger to hit it. So anyway, I drilled this hole, put the screw in. This gave me a pivot point to get my height. So then when I held this up, I adjusted that pivot point until that heel shifter was just above the floorboard. Then I marked with a Sharpie this hole, drilled it, tapped it, put the screw in, drilled it. Now this hole I just got to put the screw back in. I haven't done that yet. All right, so the fourth hole, he doesn't give you 4 screws, you only really need 3. All right, so that works out. I just got to put the screw back in here, but I wanted to show you what I did. Now also, I told you I'd tell you about the drill bits. I started out small, started with a, pardon me, numbered drill set. You can get them at Harbor Freight. They're not really the best, but I started with like a 28 and finished with a number 20 drill, and that gave the hole just enough for those self-tappers to go in. Now here's the way you deal with a self-tapper. You turn it. You want to use a small ratchet. Do not use a long handle or you're going to shear it off. You turn it until you feel it tighten up, then you back it off again, turn it, back it off again, and sometimes you'll get some buildup. So you take the screw all the way out, run the drill bit through again just to clean out any metal that's kind of wedged up in there, and then you just keep tapping. If you try to drive that, a good chance you'll shear the head off the screw. All right, so be careful there. All right, I just got to put this one in. So start out small, move up to that drill bit I told you, number 20. And then before you even put this on, get the holes tapped, right? They're self-tappers. Now if you do shear a screw, you can drill it out or back it out, and then maybe just use nuts and bolts, up to you. All right, I would suggest if you're going to use nuts and bolts, instead of self-tappers, get nylock nuts back here, or if you don't, use blue Loctite. You don't want them coming off on you and not being able to shift. Anyway, so let me show you what I mean. Let me pause it here for a minute. Okay guys, to show you that this works, and I think I'm gonna like it. It's a lot better than that Reefco one. Now, I don't ride in flip-flops, guys. Yes, I work around in the garage. It's Californian flip-flops. But just to show you how this works, you see my foot's down here. Normally I would have my toes in my shoes under this shifter, but as you can see, pretend my flip-flops a shoe, I'm easily now able to reach both the heel and the toe. This will allow me to use the footboard. So I think Randal did a good job on not making me move my foot so much to get at that heel shifter. But let me show you how it works. So where it goes here, so there's neutral, one down, okay, pulling the clutch. See, I'm in between gears there. One down, all right, and then heel up, 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 right? Down, down, down. I'm having no trouble just tapping that heel shifter to do that, all right? So, we're looking pretty good there. Randal, I think your product is gonna work out. And as I said, I've ridden for, what, 2 weeks now, waiting for the heel toe shifter, and I had a bunch of SRA LA rides, one way up to Idlewild and whatnot, which I ran with just the right floorboard, and I loved it. Again, sorry for I should have put tennis shoes on for the video, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, loved the floorboard on the right side. Now I'm gonna put some miles with the heel toe shifter, see how I like it, see if I like the floorboard on the left side. One thing for sure, I know it wouldn't look good. If I didn't like the heel toe shifter, I'd probably keep the right floorboard. I do have to say, I really liked it. It's better than the pegs. And the angle that it puts you at, see, I have long legs and long knees, so my leg's gonna come down, and I don't want my foot flat because that's gonna be like uncomfortable, right? So this angle's down properly. The fact that it's a little flexible is good. Same with this over here. So I'm looking forward to it now. And Randal and everybody else, let me get some miles on and see how I like this heel toe shifter setup. But that's the way I installed it. And I think, I'll tell you what, for 130 bucks, 135 online, which is the online price. I forget how much he charges for the heel toe shifter. I apologize, didn't stick it in my mind, but I think it's really cheap. The fact you got to drill holes, be prepared for that. Randal, you might want to, I'll tell you what, Randal, I'll send you that Reefco one. You might want to take a look at how they made their mount without drilling holes in that bracket. I leave that up to you. I don't know if you want to redesign this thing. I don't know how many SM5 floorboards you sell. I know there's not a lot of SM5 guys or SM6 guys out there, but in case you do, Might save you your customers from drilling holes and tapping screws. Not hard, but you just got to have the equipment. You got to have drill, you got to have numbered drill bit sets, and be careful how to tap screws in thick metal, all right? Anyway, so that's where we're at, and I'll come back to you guys after I get a chance to ride with it.